What is up, YouTubers and lovers of budget cars and bikes? Welcome back to the channel if you're a subscriber. Welcome to the channel if you've just found us. And to the, what is this, fifth video in the series on this Aprilia Tuono V4 APRC that we picked up in November 2021. It is now the third week in March 2022, and this is my third or fourth ride out on her, so I've not been overly using the bike, it has to be said. But that, of course, we were in the winter months, so I tend not to ride in the winter. But I'm hoping you've seen the videos of when it first arrived. We did another video on unwrapping it and using ACF 50 and seeing how it kind of fared after that. Again, I'll link these all in there in the top right hand corner throughout this video. And then we did some mods, or tried to do some mods anyway, and we did a little bit here and there, but not as much as, you know, kind of I was hoping to do. But that's life, I guess, in some respects. You know, you spend your winter buying all your goodies for your bike, and then perhaps you feel it, well, I felt certainly that I should have spent a little bit more and got the right thing, you know, as opposed to buying cheap shit off AliExpress. But, you know, whatever, it is what it is, and I'll probably do it again. And so we're out today, as I said, the third week in March, out for a little ride, because I wanted to basically do a final thought on the bike, and we're going to go for a little ride in a second, but I just wanted to kind of start the video off this way, show you around the bike, see what we've done. There's a tail tidy on there now as well, as you can see, but I did keep the stock indicators. What I did is what I found on another video. If you just take off these front lenses, you can pull out the wires, which will then take out the entire rear hanger, as it was for the number for the number plate, the original number plate holder. And then I bought this J-Tech, as you can see here, tail tidy. It was about 25 quid. I'm going to link it into the description because it's a hell of a lot cheaper than a lot of the other stuff like R&G. And as you can see, I kept the original number plate. I think it looks nice. It's tidied at the back end, no end, and I like the way it slants the number plate upwards slightly as well. For 25 quid, I think that was a good buy. There is something different on this bike as well, which I'm sure the eagle-eyed of you may have noticed already. Now, in the first video, we talked about this little area up here and how that's normally chrome, and all the chrome was kind of flaking off it. So when I had it all apart to do the tail tidy here, I decided it might be an idea to see what we could do about that. And as I got that bit off, because basically the top seat comes off and then that whole unit comes away, and then you can unscrew just that little red bit there. It actually comes out away from the seat, as you can see, and then follows the line round like so and to the other side. So I thought while it was off, because I like the way it's got red here, I thought I'd spray it red, and I think you've got to agree that does really look nice now, because you've got red and then red and then red. I think it flows nicely. I mean, drop it in the comments, let me know what you think about that, but I think it looks nicer than the chrome that it was before. I could have resprayed it chrome, of course, I could have done it black, but I decided to do it in red, and I think it really sets off the bike nicely. As I said in the previous video, we didn't do the mirrors because I haven't found any bar end mirrors I really like yet. I bought some levers, but again, I bought them from AliExpress, and they're not for this bike essentially, so they're bloody useless. But again, I am looking for some levers as well. I did buy an exhaust. I bought an Arrow GP2 exhaust, and unfortunately, once again, I bought the wrong bloody exhaust. It was for an 1100. Because this is the 2015, it's actually a late registered 2014, because in 2015 they changed to the 1100. So I bought the wrong exhaust, so I couldn't change that, but I did do the exhaust flap delete. As you can see there are no cables going through. If you're interested in that, I'll link it in up here, how to delete the exhaust flap here, so it sounds really fruity all the time. It doesn't just come in at a certain amount of revs, you know, that was all Euro 5 compliant, but I whipped that off as well. So an exhaust flap delete, again, the video's up here somewhere throughout this video if you're interested in doing that. It takes less than 5 minutes, and it hasn't harmed the bike at all. In fact, it just sounds bloody awesome now. And apart from that, I've not done a lot. As you can see, I've done some little cosmetic bits, and I've just been enjoying the bike. So let's jump on, and we will take you for a little ride, and we'll talk about the bike some more. So here we are again, out on the Aprilia Tuono, and yeah, well, this video was supposed to be all about the mods that we've done on the bike, and yeah, I've done a couple of things, but to be quite honest, I haven't done very much, nowhere near as much as I thought I was gonna do, and I was hoping to do. I bought all this stuff over the last 4 months while the bike's been sat in the garden doing not very much, and I've tried to fit everything in the last week or so, and well, we'll go through that in a minute and find out what we actually managed to achieve. Yeah, so going back to the mods that we were supposed to do on the bike, including an exhaust, some new LED indicators, that kind of stuff, tail tidy. All I've actually managed to do so far is the tail tidy and the, oh Christ, what was it? The bulbs. I've changed the headlight bulbs to Osram night vision, night breaker, something or other anyway, and I'm not massively impressed with them, I have to say. I was hoping for more of a kind of, you know, ice white look, and yeah, they're okay, they're better than the ones that were in there, but you know, what do you expect for 20 quid, I suppose. I think what you really need to do is get some of those LED ones if you really want the ice white, because the Osrams and the Philips, they're probably not going to get you where you need to be if you're looking for that kind of look on your bike. But we're back out again today, having a little bimble. I've got to go to Halfords and pick up one of my super deals that I found online the other day. So I thought I might as well take the bike out, give you guys a little look around it, probably for the last time on, you know, regarding videos and stuff. So yeah, what did we manage to do? I did the tail tidy. Again, we'll have a little look at that in a minute. If it's a bit windy, guys, I do apologise. It is actually quite a windy day out here. Yeah, I did the tail tidy. That was pretty good, actually. I'll put a link in the description for the tail tidy I used, because it was much cheaper than a lot of the other ones that are out there. So I think it's definitely value for money in that respect, and it wasn't difficult. We're talking about 3 bolts. I haven't filmed that because it did seem a bit pointless. There are other videos out there showing you what to do. What I did is followed the instructions, as it were, on one of the other videos and used the original indicators. It seemed far easier, and now I'm stuck with like 8 of those Audi-esque indicators that sweep backwards and forwards, but I can use them on another project. It's not a big problem. I did try to change the mirrors as well to bar ends, but I tried to use some old bar end mirrors that I've got lying about, and it just wasn't happening. They weren't going to fit in the holes, so, and I got so despondent with it, I just couldn't be bothered. But I am going to look into getting some proper bar end mirrors. You know, I think I'm going to have to spend maybe like 100 quid to get something that looks and you know, is going to be long term better for the bike, as opposed to those like little cheap Chinese ones. And I also did the modification on the exhaust. I'm hoping you've seen that video. If you haven't seen it, it'll be up and coming. I made a video on how to delete the exhaust flap on the standard exhaust, because I was trying to fit the aftermarket one. So if you're interested in that, look at my other videos. There'll be a video there showing you how to do it and what the benefits are, if any. Correct me if I'm wrong, if you've got one of these. I thought it was just an up quick shifter, but I swear to God, every time I click down, it switches down a gear as quickly as it switches up. So I'm thinking this is an up and down quick shifter when I thought it was just an up. Put that in the comments if you would, guys, because I'm curious about that. So what have we actually learnt on the bike in the last couple of rides we've done out on it? A couple of things I like, a couple of things I don't really like that much. But I think that can be said for any bike you buy, really. I don't like the fact that it doesn't have cruise control, it doesn't have a fuel gauge, it doesn't have heated grips, but I think you'll find that all of that comes on the factory version, so you know, you pay a bit more, you get a bit more, I guess. I'm hoping you guys can hear that exhaust. I'm sure actually that exhaust flap delete that I did has actually made a huge difference. And it doesn't seem to have made any difference to the kind of slow running of the bike, in the respect that, you know, it's at slower speeds. I've heard and read that it can cause issues with low speed riding. So you can obviously hear the quick shifter kicking in as we go up. I'm hoping you can hear it go down as well. See, there was no jolt like you would expect there to be if it wasn't a downshift on the quick shifter as well. Oh no, I'm just curious. Could be a coincidence, I guess. The way this bike just tips into every corner without any effort at all is just sublime. I've got to say, this is probably one of the best planted bikes for the road I've ever ridden. We're in 5th gear now, and I can quite easily just use the quick shifter with no clutch. I'm hoping you heard that. It just went down to 4th, no jolt, no nothing. So I'm more and more convinced that this has actually got a up and down quick shifter. Either that was a bloody good gearbox. So what didn't we do? Sorry, I keep digressing because I'm enjoying riding this bike so much. We didn't do the exhaust. there is a video on why, basically. I don't know which video is going to come first, if I'm honest. Probably this one, then the exhaust, but it'll all be explained there. Didn't do the wheel decals yet, but we might still do that. I didn't do the bar end mirrors. I didn't do the levers, because the levers I bought stupidly from AliExpress were for an 1100, not for the 1000, so they're bloody useless. But I'm seriously considering buying some more expensive bar end mirrors that will fit, and some more expensive levers that will fit, and I'm still considering getting a proper exhaust for it as well. I don't want to throw too much money at this bike, because you know me guys, I don't know how long I'm going to keep it, if I'm going to keep it, what I'm going to do with it yet. And you know, I don't want to do that usual spend £1,000 on modifications and then let somebody else suck up all that money I've wasted. That's crazy, because you never get that money back. I did have some tank pads as well to go on the side of the tank, some like tank grips, but again I bought those from AliExpress board one night because they were quite cheap, and they're about, oh god, half a centimetre thick, and I wanted something far more streamlined, so I think I'm going to go for the RNGs, and I may well also get the RNG swing arm protectors as well, because they come in the same kind of material, so I think that will kind of blend in nicely. It's just a quandary what to do with this bike, because I don't need 170 horsepower. God, yes, it's nice to have it, but I don't need 170 horsepower. Not at my age. I'm 56 this year, for God's sake. I like having it, don't get me wrong, it's a lot of fun, but it's not going to be the kind of bike for a guy my age, I guess, in the respect that I don't ride like that anymore. You know, I don't try to prove anything. As I said, it's nice to have it, but I think when you get to a certain age, you don't need to be the fastest bike on the road, you know. So I don't know, as I said in previous videos, the unicorn bike, isn't it? You know, I mean, I've had two Touras, including the GS BMW, the Multistrada 1200. I've had old bikes, as in the XGR 1300, the JSX 1400, which I still love because they're good value and great fun. And I've had these super stupid fast bikes, and I just don't know which one suits me the best, if you know what I mean. If this was a £4 bike, I'd keep it. But I don't like having £6,500, £7,000 tied up in a bike, you know. I don't know. I just don't know what I'm going to do, guys. I do love this bike. It's a joy to ride. There's nothing negative about it. If you can find one like I did that's already had the valve clearance service, I mean, I've got another, 12,000 miles before that needs doing again. I can do the oil services myself. So there shouldn't really, in theory, be anything to worry about with this bike. In theory. It is an Italian superbike after all. I think we all know what owning one of those is like. We've all heard the horror stories. So although it's had everything it needs, as I said, it's an Italian superbike, and they can be a little bit temperamental by their very nature, and it always kind of is in the back of your mind, you know. One little, I mean, it hiccuped. I was on full throttle and it hiccuped like it was about to cut out, which is a bit weird. And then you think, oh Christ, what now? If it was a Japanese inline 4, I probably wouldn't have given it a second thought. But then you think to yourself, the guy that did the valve clearances, was he actually experienced in Aprilia bikes? Because I have read that if you over tighten the valves, it can cause hiccups, shall we say, with the bike cutting out and stuff like that. Who knows? I mean, I'm not about to take the engine apart to have a look, am I? I don't even know where to bloody start. Should we race this Scooby? I bet he's up for it. They always are Scooby drivers, aren't they? Look at that exhaust, Christ, you could put a small child in there. I hope you've enjoyed this series of videos on the Aprilia Tuono V4R 1000cc. I hope it's helped you in some way and made you kind of reconsider your opinions, and whether you want one for yourself, whether you've got one, whether you agree with my opinions, that kind of stuff. That's always good to know, so drop that in the comments if you would. And you know, we're going to carry on doing bikes, obviously, and I just don't know what we're going to do with this one yet. It's a joy to ride. Everybody looks at it. It sounds incredible. It's the fastest bike I've ever owned, and it's just a joy all round. But the Italian aspect of it freaks me out. I mean, we're at 93 degrees now because we're stuck in traffic. And in inline 4, you wouldn't be like that. Anyway, I digress again. As I said, if you haven't subscribed, then please consider doing that. Give the video a thumbs up. If you could give the whole series of videos a thumbs up, that really helps. We're over 7,000 subscribers now, so that's kind of quite mind-blowing. and share the video if you would as well. We need to get some more subscribers and some more views, definitely some more views, because I'd like to think I'd make some decent content, but it just some of them just don't seem to get a lot of views, which I'm not quite sure why. I'm not the biggest YouTube channel, that's for damn sure, but it does confuse me slightly when you put out what you consider to be a good video and like, only 500 people have seen it in 2-3 weeks. It's a bit disheartening, shall we say. So if you could share it amongst your friends, that'd be really helpful, guys. It's that new bloody law, isn't it, when you've got to let every bugger out. They put a Mickey D's in down in Bodmin. Look at that then, eh? So what are my final thoughts on the Aprilia Tuono V4 APRC 1000cc? I love it. I really, really, really love it. But there are a few things that annoy the crap out of me on it. But I think you will find that on any bike, if I'm honest. I don't think you're ever going to find a bike that's, as I've said before, the unicorn bike. In hindsight, the quick shifter can be a little bit temperamental. I don't know if it's just the way I'm using it, but it does miss gears now and again. And you get this kind of like rev limiter coming up, bamming at you, which is a little bit disconcerting when you're doing 70 miles an hour and you're trying to get away from it all. So that's one little thing I don't like. Apart from that, if I'm honest, that's probably it. There's nothing to dislike about this bike. I think it looks epic. I think it sounds ridiculous. It's just so unique. You don't see a huge amount of them out on the road. I am seriously considering trying the 1100 factory because they've tumbled rather in price now for several reasons. Obviously because of the new Tuonos and RSVs coming out, the older versions tend to come down in price nicely then. So, you know, am I happy I bought it? Yes. Am I going to keep it? I don't know. You know me, guys. I say I'm going to, and I'm considering doing it, and then I end up selling them. I said all this about the Multistrada 1200 DVT. I love that bike, and most of me regret selling it, but I sold that for various reasons. And then I bought this, which I've always wanted one of these. I've been wanting one of these since they first came out in 2011, I think it was. And I finally managed to get one. I like it. But it's a bit temperamental, as I said. It's an Italian bike. They always come with their problems or their little niggles. You know, I got a feeling possibly the stator is on its way out on this one because I took it for a ride the other day and it just wouldn't start afterwards. So it's either a battery or a stator. You know, that's one thing you've always got to watch out for on these Aprilias. When they get to about 15,000 miles, the stators probably need replacing, the battery at the very least. But yeah, I like it. I like what I've done with it. I like the way it sounds. I like the way it rides. I think they offer great value for money. You know, I've got this for £6,000. I think it's worth £6.5 all day long, quite frankly. But I did do a deal on Part X's, obviously, with the VTR Firestorm and the Triumph Street Triple 675. So, you know, in all, it cost me £6,000, you know, although the dealer had it up for £7,000, so it's whichever way you want to look at it. It owes me financially £6,000, but it was £7,000, if that makes sense. Anyway, that'll be it for this now on the Aprilia Tuono. There's no point in doing any more videos, really. I mean, if I keep the bike and I do a load more mods, then I might just chime back in and show you that. But apart from that, I think we are done with this. And yes, it is an epically awesome bike. Yes, you should go out and buy one. Find a good one. Make sure it's had the valve clearance check or it's below the mileage where it needs it. Make sure it's had a good service history. And just enjoy it. They are incredible bikes, but not without their little quirks, I have to say. But I really do enjoy it. As I said, I hope you enjoyed the series in this Tuono. And if you haven't subscribed, consider doing that. Like, share, all that kind of good stuff, really. And we'll see another bike or car in about 2 weeks, probably. Thanks for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this series. I know I did. And you take care of yourselves, and we'll catch up again soon.